Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr. versus Ben. 30 years of rivalry and hatred.
I do hate him.
All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr. versus Ben, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
So we had the weigh-in, the ceremonial weigh-in for Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Merely a formality. We already know the weight. Conor Benn was about 156. Chris Eubank Jr. missed weight ever so slightly, but nevertheless, he did still miss weight. I'm not going to lie. Going into tomorrow, I've been fairly sure in my pick of Chris Eubank Jr. I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing it. I am going to stick with it. But certainly, I haven't seen how he looked. So, well, the clips he was showing of himself trying to make weight and still failing. Bear in mind, he has this rehydration clause in place where both him and Conor Benn, but you would imagine with Conor Benn weighing 156 pounds, it really shouldn't be an issue for him, the 10-pound rehydration clause. It probably will be an issue for Chris Eubank Jr. because God knows how much weight he's cut down from. And if you think of it like this, if you see fighters who, and I'm sure people who've been, around professional fighters who, certainly cut a lot of weight will know that even without a rehydration clause, the next day, they're still not fully right. Some of these guys could have packed on 15, 20 pounds overnight. And they're still not fully, the afternoon, they're still getting fluids. And you got to bear in mind, these are fighters with no rehydration clause. I've heard stories about Jaime Munguia when he went from 154 to middleweight, his first fight at middleweight, he was still gulping down the squash the next day. No rehydration clause, and he was coming up in weight. So it just shows you how much weight some of these fighters are cutting and how they need to, once they finish that weigh-in, it's literally refuel. With Chris Eubank Jr., he's limited on how much he can refuel, which I personally don't think is right. Now, this isn't me trying to defend my prediction or anything like that. If Conor Benn wins, he wins, so be it. I'll hold my hands up and say, all right, got it wrong. He was the better man on the night, he won. But if he wins as a result of, and listen, Conor Benn can say what he wants to. Oh, it's easy, I'm this, I'm that. Listen, Conor Benn talks a good game, right? If he was so sure that his power would come true, if he was so sure that he was such a good fighter, if he was so sure about all these superlatives that he claims, and his dad Nigel Benn saying he beat this guy, okay, brilliant. All right, you don't need the rehydration clause then. Oh no, we do. Oh, you do. So you're not confident. Oh yeah, we are winning. Okay, so why is there a rehydration clause? I hate them. I hate the rehydration clauses. There's one in place for the IBF, which I believe is a 10 to 12 pound. Check where I could be wrong a bit on the numbers there, but it's roughly 10 to 12 pounds. The morning after, which the fighters have to adhere to unless it's a unification, in which case it's waived, right? And it has taken something out of certain fighters, like Boots Ennis. Before he unified, he was looking bad on the scales and not, I think he's looking that bad in the ring, but yeah, he certainly didn't look as good as he did when that was waived in his last fight. He looked phenomenal against Danny Onis. And that's someone who is tight at the weight. Chris Eubank Jr. has probably outgrown the weight, probably outgrew the weight years ago, and he's just been sticking around. It's going to take an awful lot out of him. And me personally, this is where I have to go and have a go with the board again, because where's the consistency? For a variety of reasons, where's the consistency? One, this is a non-title fight. I know they held the Ring Magazine belt up and all that jazz, but it's not for any major title or anything like that. This is a non-title fight at middleweight where both fighters have to adhere to a rehydration clause. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And this is the board who will have sanctioned 10 rounders, 8 rounders, 12 rounders, and if a fighter they deem is cutting too much weight the week of the fight, they'll pull the fight. They will withdraw their sanction. Where's the consistency? So you have a fighter drained, or you're not going to pull it, and he's probably cutting God knows how much weight fight week, and then you're going to slap a rehydration clause on it. But if John Doe from Leeds wants to cut 10 pounds fight week, oh no, you can't be doing that. Where's the consistency from the board here? Seriously, where's the consistency? There isn't any. I think Chris Eubank Jr., apparently Dan Raphael was saying that the fines, so he's already going to get fined $500,000 for coming in overweight. And apparently if he misses the rehydration clause altogether, now from what I'm hearing, it's if he just misses it altogether and doesn't adhere to it. Not for every pound, just if he doesn't adhere to it, it's another $500,000. A flipping £1 million, people, £1 million flipping pound for all this. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It really, you see, for me, if Conor Benn wins, it's a tainted win. And what does it do for him and his career? I beat Chris Eubank Jr. I drained him so bad, it wasn't even funny. I drained him so bad, people mistook him for a sea head. You know? It's just, honestly, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't think they should be doing the rehydration clause. And then personally, for me, I seen someone comment on my most recent video saying that they feel as though Chris Eubank Jr. should just skip the rehydration clause altogether. 500 grand is 500 grand. Chris Eubank Jr. is not short of a few quid. I heard he was making upwards of 10 mil for this fight. F him. If there's no title, what is the point? And you're already that drained. What is the actual point? Seriously, like, what is the point in doing it? Because I think if he does go ahead with it and say weighs in 170, he's still fairly drained. Say they do that 8 p.m. tomorrow and the fight, they're saying ring walk's going to be at 10 p.m. So he's got 14 hours to try and fully, he's not going to be good to go in 14 hours. He's not. I mean, if he weighed in this morning at, say, I think it was about roughly noon when they weighed in, you're talking what, the guts of 30 odd hours more? 30 hours thereabouts, something like that. You know, you're talking a good amount of time, a very good amount of time. Roughly, we'll say 36 hours thereabouts, a good amount of time, roughly. That's surely enough time to rehydrate fully. You know, rehydrate by 10 pounds and then another 14 hours on top of that. It's not enough. It's not enough. So I think with Conor Benn, if he does win this fight, it'll be a time to win, no doubt. I mean, he may school him for 12 rounds, but you'd still be saying, well, what if he was fully hydrated? In terms of Chris Eubank Jr., I mean, at the end of the day, right, you made your bed, you got to lie in it. I really don't think, you know, if the extra money you got, and this is where it doesn't make sense for me, right? If the extra money you got for agreeing to the rehydration clause and the weight and all that, if the extra money you're getting, you're blowing it just on fines and this, that, and the other, what was the point in doing this? Why didn't you just take the fight as it is? At the end of the day, you weren't the reason the first fight fell through. You weren't. You were not the reason the first fight fell through. So I don't know why he compromised so bad on this instead of just going to 168. And you might not have got the Canelo fight then and there, but you could have at least challenged, you know, a contender. You probably have to beat some of them. I don't get it. I really don't. So that's my thoughts. Chris Eubank Jr., he could be in trouble tomorrow night. He really could be. He could be in trouble with not just Conor Benn. He could be in trouble with the board in terms of fines, or he could be in trouble with the weight, either or. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's fight. I am. Interest is definitely at a peak. But, yo, this has been a bit of a mess, hasn't it? Bit of a mess with the weights and stuff like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video as always, people. Hit the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And until next time, peace and love.